Right now, go on. Hey guys, I'm back with Sage at Sage News. He was kind enough to come back on, and we've got two stories. He's got one, and I've got one. How you doing, brother?
Hey, how's it going? I'm here with Financial Prepper, newly named, newly changed channel, to more kind of represent the type of stuff that he's doing, financially prepping and prepping all together. So I actually have one for you, and I'm going to interview you a little bit, and you can play this. So just recently, I did a little bit of a report in regards to fuel tanks, and this is another problem that we're having. So a lot of people might have saw gas stations close down, right? And just shut the doors, and next thing you know, they were gone. Well, what happened was, I believe in 2015, the EPA came out with a new rule in regards to how gas tanks can be vented. So when a truck shows up and starts to put fuel into the fuel tank underground, there's a vent that used to let that gas go into the air. Well, the EPA came out and said, no, you can't do that anymore. You're toast. You got to change that tank out or find a way to vent that back into the truck or into another container. Well, a lot of gas stations couldn't afford it, so they shut down. And the ones that did had to dig their tanks up, put new tanks in, and now we're also seeing that price being affected us. And you have the same thing going on in your line of work.
You said that was 2015? It
was 2015 when they started doing it with the gasoline.
Okay, well, that brings up two things. So in 2015, the same thing happened to us in the natural gas field. We started seeing these burners where if there was any, while they were drilling, any gas, even if it was a little bit, had to be piped out and burnt at a certain temperature, because they didn't want anything in the atmosphere. And all these little things are extra cost. It's these, extra cost. And we're going to eat that. Do you think Russia and China and all these other places are doing any of this? I can only imagine how China's making fuel. They're probably burning tires. There's no telling what they're doing. And recently I just got through talking to a good buddy of mine, and he's one of those super smart guys, Mr. Lane. He's always, he's like the cream. He rises to the top. He's always head of the company that he's working for. And he was telling me that now, they're changing some things up, that even we've got these little actuator valves that are all over the equipment. They do certain things, and they'll let a little, just a little bit of gas out, but the gas is called fuel gas, and it comes from the well, just natural gas. It's pressurized. They're using it for air pretty much, just to pressurize these things. And they said, no, you can't do that. You can't let that little bit of gas out. You're going to have to get an air compressor to do it. So that sounds like, okay, so what's the big deal? Well, that's a whole nother ballgame. Air is that's different. You've got moisture now. You've got, it's freezing up. This is something completely different than what they've done. So it's always something. And the end result is going to be higher prices for us, the consumer. That's who's going to eat it every time. And they're choking us out with this, on top of everything else that's going to hell in a handbasket at the moment.
Right. So what like I said, this is something we're going to dive into, because I'd like to, he brought this to my attention. We started talking. So we're going to track somebody down that we can actually find out the time difference, the cost difference, how much this is actually costing, because we are at this point, we have, with inflation and everything going up, and they're already saying that we're going to be paying the highest natural gas, and we're going to have power blackouts like you've mentioned. And here the EPA is still enforcing situations like this that you would think they would pull back on, but they're not. They're doing stuff like your story. And now you have a story that just came out also.
Well, wait a minute. I really, call me a climate denier. I want to put this out there. I think we will run out of fossil fuels before it's a problem. I think we'll run out. Am I losing?
Nope. You You came back.
Okay. We will run out of fossil fuels before the climate change is a disaster. We've got too many things in place. We're burning things too clean. I mean, it's such a joke. They're just ESG. This ESG movement is how they're going to choke us out. Yeah. They won't. That's it. They're choking out the people that live on the earth that are actually making the way, and the driving people, the welding people, the plumber. It's us that they're going to choke up. That they're turning us into slaves through this ESG movement. Y'all watch that ESG. Remember, environmental, social, and governance, and they're leaning heavy on the governance.
Mm-hmm.
And that. Go ahead.
Absolutely, and this is where, like I said, this is a lot of right now. If they truly wanted to pull back on some of this and help bring down gas prices, natural gas prices, and not cause this, one of the things they'd have to pull back on is the EPA, and they're not. They're just not. And some of the decisions that they're making, that they are doing, let's segue into that, which is your story.
All right. This was brought to me by my good buddy Luke. We grew up together, and he sends me stories every now and then. This is a good one. The Biden administration, the bonehead Biden administration, quietly raised amount of ethanol required in summer blend gasoline from 10% to 15%. And there's 3 predictable problems that will surface soon. I'd like to talk about one right off the bat. As soon as I hear ethanol,
yeah,
I've got an XR 650R dirt bike right over there.
Mm-hmm.
Bad to the bone, the big thumper. And I left the gas on. My bad. But what was really my bad is I put ethanol gas in it. Somehow it got in there.
Mm.
Well, when you do that, the gas gets down in the carburetor and it evaporates out of the carburetor. And you will drain the gas out through the carburetor, and it will leave whatever's in the gas behind. It was trash when I got to it. It had green algae in it that turned to concrete. I've cleaned it 3 times. I've had it all apart. You just can't get it out. It's awful. So every time I hear ethanol, I think of how awful it is to run and stuff. And now they're upping the percentage,
right,
in our summer blend. Now, you know a lot about blends and stuff like that. What's up with that?
What happened is the blend of alcohol is the percentage in regards to corn. Obviously, ethanol is a corn base, basically, was one. So the corn that they put in there is supposed to offset the diesel itself. So during the summer months, they would usually back down on the amount of ethanol that would go in there, and to 10 and things like that. So to up that ethanol into that system, it's like you said, it's not what we want to run during the summer. It's not what you want to run during the hot summer months and things like that in the engine. So they usually, like I said, they back it down. But we have issues if they run that up. And some of the issues is,
well, one right off the bat is we could be feeding the corn to cows and chickens and us. This is food that we could be consuming. Instead of drilling in the earth and using stuff that we can't consume. We're using our food as fuel. It's ridiculous.
Right.
The first issue, the renewable fuel standard, is government mandated, passed in 2005, and explains. Let me skip a little bit. Approximately 40% of corn grown in the U.S. is used for ethanol. Raising the amount of ethanol required in gasoline will result in the need for more biofuel, corn. With farming costs and outputs already under pressure, this could be problematic. Yeah, we already called that one.
So basically what the issue is now the government's paying more for this ethanol, right? So if I'm a farmer, I'm going to plow under something that I might be able to do wheat or soy or something, beans or something like that. And I'm going to now plant ethanol corn. So now
wait a minute. Corn takes 3 times as much fertilizer as soybeans.
Right. And even then you're right now, the government's paying more for it. So supply and demand would say, hey, I'm going to plant something the government's going to give me more money for because they're going to go ahead and put extra in the fuel. So we're now using farmland.
I hope I'm right on that. It might not be 3 times. Somebody straighten me out in the comments.
No, you'll get that easily done.
Oh, I don't care. I'm good with it.
Go ahead.
We're winging it, guys. I'm going to get some things wrong. Doing my best, though. Second issue. The EPA enforces the biofuel standard requiring refineries to submit purchase credits, known as Renewable Identification Numbers, or RINs. EPA proving the purchase. Let me skip.
You want me to do it?
Crap you got to get through. You got the meat of it yet?
This enforcement requires set up a system where the RN credits are bought and sold by small refineries who do not have the infrastructure to do the blending process. The process the purchase second-hand RN credits from parties that blend the imported biofuel directly. This setup is a secondary income stream and trading market for the larger oil companies, refineries, and importers. So basically, these credits are something that they're getting towards their carbon trading taxes. Basically, it says the RN credit trading platform is similar to what we might expect to see if the carbon trading scheme was ever put into place. However, now the summer biofuel requirements for blend gasoline have gone from 10 to 15. The purchase of the RIN credits will likely jump. This will cost refineries billions in additional expenses, which will mean that the cost of gasoline from the refineries will increase, which will mean the cost of the gasoline at the pump will go higher.
This is ESG. We're talking about ESG. Carbon credits, all this, All right, the third issue is pretty much what we talked about before. Gasoline cannot be used in concentrations above 10% in small engines like outboard motors, lawnmowers, motorcycles, generators, chainsaws, or any cars made before 2001. Complicating matters further, most cars on the road today still aren't warranted to run on gas that more than 10% ethanol, with more than 10% ethanol. So your car is probably not even rated for 15%. And we don't get to vote on this crap. We don't get to say it all.
No, and I think the issue is that if my car's not designed for that and it's designed for 10 and I bought this car and my warranty won't cover it, what do I do? How can they not cover a warranty? Now what happens? They go and something happens to my car that I have a warranty for. And they say, well, you ran this fuel. I said, well, I had no choice. Where am I going to get fuel? Not run it at all until they lower it back down? I mean, what do I do?
I don't understand. It's got to be nefarious. This has got to be a plan to crush society. I don't see another way around it. Yeah. We've got a way to burn oil clean, gasoline clean. I understand. Let's go electric. I get that. I'm all for it. So be it. But we're not there yet. They're really trying to cram this stuff down. Oh, that's what they're saying. Let's go electric, be clean and green. But we're not there. It's like saying, I want my jetpack. I have been waiting forever for a jetpack, but I'm not going to stop driving until I get one. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm not going to be the first to fly it. No offense.
I get it. Well, Sage, thanks for coming on, brother. I hope we spread some good news. And guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. And check out Sage at Sage News. I'm going to put him in the comments. I'm going to put him in the description. I'm going to put him on my Telegram. I'm going to put him everywhere along with these stories. I'm going to just spread this stuff everywhere so it gets out, because I don't want any of this stuff to get past us. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Yeah, thanks for. Make sure you guys check me out on Wednesday. I got a pretty good show coming out on Wednesday. You're not going to want to miss it.
Have an awesome day. Later.